So welcome, Prabhu Mataji, and thank you for keeping the appointment, Krishna, today. So verse number 8 from chapter number 9 from Bhagavad Gita. Prakritim swam avashtabhya visrajami punah punah bhutagramam imam kritsnam avasham prakritir vashat. Prakritim swam avashtabhya visrajami punah punah bhutagramam imam kritsnam avasham prakritir vashat. Prakritim swam avashtabhya visrajami punah punah bhutagramam imam krishnam avasham prakritir vashat. Translation by Divine Geshe Prabhupada. The whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again. And under my will, it is annihilated at the end. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It's a very, very important chapter. It is entitled The Most Confidential Knowledge, right? So in this chapter, Krishna, in order to encourage Arjuna to higher and higher elevation, he describes in this 9th chapter matters which are more confidential than he has already discussed before. That's why in the very beginning of Bhagavad Gita, first chapter is more or less an introduction of the rest of the book, right? And the second and third chapters, the spiritual knowledge described is called confidential. Now, topics which are discussed in the 7th and 8th chapters are specifically related to devotional service. And because they bring enlightenment in Krishna consciousness, they are called more confidential. But the matters which are described in the 9th chapter, which deals with the unalloyed pure devotion, right? Therefore, it is called the most confidential. So one who is situated in the most confidential knowledge of Krishna is naturally transcendental. So therefore, he has got no material inabilities. Although we are staying in the middle world, right? So that's a point to understand. So that's why Krishna says in this chapter, he is the king of all such knowledge. And most confidential one. And actually, why is confidential? He says in the purport of 9.2, it is the most confidential because confidential or transcendental knowledge involves understanding the difference between the soul and the body. So all the king of all, and the king of all confidential knowledge culminates in devotional service. And he says, I am the maintainer of all living entities. And I am not, he is creating everything, but he said, I am not part of the cosmic manifestation, although he is the source of creation. So from the Vedic literature, we can find evidence that this material manifestation, which appears to be so wonderful and great, is under the complete control of Krishna. So this we will see in the future verses, 7, 8, 9, and 11. So 8 we are discussing today. See the connection between chapter 8 and 9, right? Chapter 8, Krishna has explained the unalloyed devotee. And now we will describe how to become such a devotee. So chapter 8 concludes that bhakti is the best form of yoga. And chapter 9 supplies the specific knowledge required for performing the most confidential yoga. That's why the 9.1 to 3, the 3 verses, most intimate knowledge of the absolute truth is obtainable through hearing, Shravanam. And who can receive this most confidential knowledge? 2 qualifications, non-envious and faithful. So, see, Krishna, he pervades, he creates and annihilates the entire cosmos through his material energy. Now, although he is the supreme director, yet the material world moves independently and Krishna remains neutral and detached. This is inconceivable potency in terms of the creation and annihilation. So Krishna, after explaining his role in maintenance, he explains his relationship with creation and destruction now. So under the will of the Supreme Lord Krishna, all the material manifestations are automatically created and annihilated again and again. So this verse 9.8 points out to Krishna's detachment, which implies that Krishna has no direct involvement but acts through his material energies. So the basis of creation is given, right? Creation takes place to accommodate. Why is material creation taking place? To accommodate the desires of the various living entities. See, in 7.4 purport, was Prabhupada says, the science of God analyzes the constitutional position of God and his diverse energies. So material nature is called Prakriti, or the energy of the Lord in his different Purusha incarnations, expansions, as it is described in Narada Pancharatra, where it says, for material creation, Lord Krishna's plenary expansion assumes three Vishnus. First one is Mahavishnu, which creates the total material energy known as the Mahat Tattva. The second is Garbhodakashai Vishnu, who enters into all the universes to create diversities in each of them. And the third, Kshirodakashai Vishnu, he is diffused as the all-pervading super soul, Paramatma in all the universes, and is known as the Paramatma, right? He is present even within the atoms. Anyone who, and it is said, anyone who knows these three Vishnus can be liberated from material entanglement. See, it is quoted in Padma Puran. We always say about 84, 8 lakh 400,000, 84 lakh species, right? There are 84 lakhs of different species in creation. And it's quoted Jalaja Nava Lakshani, Savara Laksha Vimshati, Kramayo Rudra Sankhya Kaha, Pakshinam Dasha Lakshan, Trimshal Lakshani Pashabaha, Chatur Lakshani Manushaha. So this verse describes the different species and its varieties. Jalaja, aquatics, 9 lakh varieties. Stavara, plants and trees, 20 lakh varieties. Kramayo, insects and reptiles, 11 lakh varieties. Pakshinam, birds, 10 lakh varieties. Pashavaha, land animals, 30 lakh varieties. And Manushya, human, 4 lakh varieties. So human birth is attained at last after wandering through all the other species mentioned in the 84 lakhs. So think how difficult it is to attain the human birth. So all the species will have to come across miseries of material existence, birth, death, old age, and disease. See, no other species has a consciousness of how to get rid of these miseries. Only human beings have this consciousness, using which they can go back home, back to Godhead. How? By doing devotional service sincerely to the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna. So by this way, the human beings can get rid of the miseries of material existence. So the goal of human life must be to go back home, back to Godhead. Now, this universe, which you find just like a big ball, right? There are innumerable universes like this, and they are floating in water. And that water is called causal ocean. So that causal ocean, big giant body is lying down there. That is known as Karanodagashai Vishnu. Vishnu is that gigantic form. He is sleeping within that water, that causal ocean. And by his inhaling and exhaling, breathing, no, there are bubbles. And those bubbles are the manifested as universes. It's stated in Brahma Samhita, Yasyek Nishvasita Kala Mathavalambhya Jivanti Loma Vilajaja Gadandanataha. 5.48, it says, no, Brahma Samhita, Brahma and other lords of the mundane worlds, appearing from the pores of hair of Mahavishnu, remain alive as long as the duration of one exhalation of the latter, that is Mahavishnu. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, whose subjective personality, Mahavishnu, is a portion of ocean. See, it is like the cloud in the clear sky, you know. See, in the spiritual sky, the effulgence of Brahman is spread all around. And the whole system is so bright, spiritual light. The Mahat Tattva is assembled in some corner of that vast, unlimited spiritual sky. And the part which is covered by the Mahat Tattva is called the material sky. See, very important to understand. See, the sky is one, the whole sky. So, just like we can experience the sky, right? Suppose the sky in Bangalore, suppose it's overcast with cloud. We say that we are covered in cloud. Practically, the Bangalore sky is only a fragmental portion of the whole sky. Similarly, the real sky is that spiritual sky. It is known as Paravyoma. So when that Paravyoma partially is clouded with Mahat Tattva, that is called material world. So this is the position of material world. Material world is also existing in the spiritual world, but it is covered in a fragmental segment. So this part of spiritual sky is called the Mahat Tattva. And it's only an insignificant portion of the whole spiritual sky. And within this Mahat Tattva, there are innumerable universes. And all these universes collectively is produced by the Karanodakashayi Vishnu, also called Mahavishnu, who simply throws his glance, only to impregnate the material sky to manifest. So the first Purusha is the Karanodakashayi Vishnu. So from the skin holes of him, innumerable universes are coming out. And in each and every one of them, the Purusha, second Purusha, enters as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. So Garbhodaka is lying in half portion of the universe full with water of his body. See how from the level of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu has sprung up the stem of the lotus flower, which is the birthplace of Brahma. And Brahma is the father of all living beings, right? And the master of all the demigods, engineers, right? Engaged in the matter of the perfect design, working of this universal order. And within the stem of the lotus, there are 14 divisions of planetary system. 7 above and 7 below. So from this Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, there is expansion of Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, who is a collective Paramatma of all living beings. And he is called Hari. And from him, all incarnations within the universes are expanded. See, the conclusion is that the Purusha Avatara is manifested in 3 features. First is the Karanodakashayi Vishnu, who creates aggregate material ingredients in the Mahat Tattva. Second, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu enters into each and every universe. And third, Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, who is the Paramatma of every material object, right? He enters. So this, as far as now the point is, so what happens to the end at the time of annihilation? We have seen, at that time of annihilation, all the 84 lakhs, everything goes back into the Mahavishnu. And when the next creation starts, all those living entities again are brought out. So as far as the living entities are concerned, they are impregnated into this material nature. How, as a result of that past deeds, they take different positions. It's not that, see, when you are annihilated, whatever is there in your subtle body, whatever things, whatever as per the karmas is there, again from that stage you will come out. It's not that it is gone, a new one, not at all. As a result of past deeds, they take different positions. Then the activities of this material world begins. See, Prabhupada says in the last paragraph of this purport of 9.8, the activities of the different species of living beings are begun from the very moment of the creation. It's not that everything is evolved. The different species of life, they are created immediately along with the universe. It's not that after the universe, again separately they are created. No. So like men, animals, beasts, birds, everything is simultaneously created. Because whatever desires the living is had at the last annihilation, they are again manifested. So you cannot escape. So which janma, the karmas which you have done, which janma we never know, right? It may fructify, fructified and gone. It may fructify in this janma or maybe later. That's why good things and bad things, bad karma, everything is coming out, right? It depends. So it is clearly indicated that the living entities have nothing to do with this process. So the state of being in the past life, in the past creation, is simply manifested again. And all this is done simply by Krishna's will. So this is the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And after creating different species of life, he has no connection with them. The creation takes place to accommodate the inclinations of various living entities. And so the Lord does not become involved with it. So this is a very important point. We have to, so more and more we can try to understand this, no? Then we will be able to. So the point, see, so the three Purushas, we should very much almost remember this. Karanodakashaya Vishnu, Garvadakashaya Vishnu, and Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, the Purusha avatars of Krishna. So Mahat Tattva has all the ingredients for creating this right middle universe, right? By the glance of the Lord and everything. So what are those? The 24 elements of actually Sankhya philosophy. The 5 gross elements are ether, air, fire, water, and earth. 5 sense objects. See, first is ether is sky, right? Then air, then fire, then water, and earth. That is gross elements. So what are the sense objects for each of those gross elements? Sky is the sound, air is touch, the fire is sight, right? Water is taste, and earth is smell. And then we have the 5 knowledge acquiring senses. So sound, that is for the sound is the ear. Touch is the skin. Sight is the eye. Taste is the tongue. And smell is the nose. Then we have the 5 working senses: voice, legs, arms, reproductive organs, and evacuating organs. Then the Mahat Tattva, right? So the Sankhya philosophy is the analytical study. So what is the analytical study? Analytical study explains first the material nature. So the purpose of Sankhya is not only just to analyze the material nature, but through this analysis, you have to come to a point of understanding the spiritual nature. So generally, Sankhya analyzes material nature with these 24 considerations. So the main point is, what Sankhya is doing is that Sankhya is taking us beyond the material nature. And that is the purpose of Sankhya philosophy. So with Bhagavad-gītā, Krishna briefly gives the essence of Sankhya just in 2 verses. He's establishing the form of Bhumi Apo Analo Vayu, Kham Mano Buddhirevacha, Ahankareti Yamme, Bhinna Prakriti Rashtada, 7.4. And in 7.5, he has described the Bhinna Prakriti, verse, that 8 elements, no? He's saying, Apareyam Hitastvamniyam, Prakritim Vidhi Me Param, Jiva Bhutam Mahabhavo, Yayedam Dharayate Jagat. 7 point. So this inferior nature of mind, beyond this, there is a superior element. That is Jiva Bhutam, that is the living entity. So the living entities are not a product of this middle nature. Living entities are coming from the Para Prakriti. So this is the point. Purpose of Sankhya is actually to transcend the middle nature and come to the spiritual nature through knowledge, through jnana. And that jnana is the analytic study. And the branch of jnana is the analytical studies. See, otherwise we cannot understand, right? How do you understand intellectually? How do we conceive the existence of the spiritual sky? See, somebody may say there is a spiritual world, spiritual sky. So how do we get to know about the spiritual sky? How to get the knowledge of the existence of spiritual sky? That is the purpose of Sankhya philosophy. We can see in Kapila Muni's in Bhagavatam, we can see later, right? So analyze the material nature. So you will come to, after analyzing material nature, you come to a point when you will see that there is something other than the matter. Something that is beyond matter. That is the soul. The soul must have come from somewhere, right? Because soul is not matter. So the whole matter has been analyzed up to the point of Mahat Tattva. But soul was not there. So the soul is beyond Mahat Tattva and soul is beyond material experience. So this is the knowledge. And when one becomes situated in this knowledge, then he aspires to get out his material nature. So knowledge by itself is not enough. We to analyze and get to truth. So beyond material, there is something beyond, that is spiritual. So this is what I wanted to share today. So stop here. Thank you very much, Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. It's very interesting. We can go through the Bhagavatam and get to know more and more details about this. Hare Krishna. Karantara Srimad Bhagavad-gītā ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava. Vancha kalpatarubhyaśca. Kripa sindhubhayeva cha. Patitanam pavanebhyo. Vaishnavebhyo. Ananta Koti Vaishnava.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam to everybody.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the class, Ramachandra Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, devotees. Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much.